So Chris Christie's presidential campaign is just 2 days old, and his messaging surrounding the Republican Party's frontrunner, former President Trump, is taking shape.
Not only did 69% of Republicans say that Donald Trump was the best candidate in the general election, 55% didn't want you. Isn't your message, your anti-Trump message, sabotaging your campaign?
No, but that's why campaigns matter, Andrea. And arguments can get changed.
Yeah, but let me tell you something, Bill. I'm in this race for 2.5 months, and I've got from nowhere to second place in New Hampshire. And yeah, my first goal was to get there. My next goal is to beat Donald Trump.
I'm suspending my campaign tonight for President of the United States.
I believe as we continue to make this argument and let people examine his failures as president, he didn't build the wall. He didn't build the wall. He didn't build the wall. We're going to continue to make that argument because it's the truth.
Donald Trump is someone who, when he makes a promise, he keeps it. Donald Trump is someone who keeps his word, and that means America will keep its word again.
So let's be specific, because you're the only Republican hopeful who is taking on the dreaded Donald Trump. His numbers only continue to climb, no matter what he does and what anybody says. So why isn't your messaging and ours getting through to the vast Americans?
Well, first of all, we don't know that yet. You know,
But
no
the
one's
polls,
voted yet.
the polls.
Yeah, I get the polls. And if the polls were right, Hillary Clinton would be in her second term.
Everyone is a long shot in this race, but Donald Trump on the Republican side, if you believe the polling.
I've never believed that Donald Trump was a foregone conclusion as our nominee in this race.
Everyone is a long shot in this race, but Donald Trump on the Republican side, if you believe the polling.
So I think polling has become much, much more difficult for the pollsters. Polls these days, I think, are even more problematic because, you know, who wants to answer a pollster?
In the end, everyone is a long shot in this race, but Donald Trump, if you believe the polling.
You know, people lie to pollsters. I mean, think about what happened in 2016. You know, people not only lied beforehand, they lied on their way out of the voting booth. Yeah, no, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Hillary. We're very well watching the very opposite of what happened to Hillary Clinton.
And it's clear to me tonight that there isn't a path for me to win the nomination.
Anybody thinks I'm getting out of this race, they're crazy.
I'm suspending my campaign tonight for President of the United States.
If there was someone else other than me who had been willing to take on Donald Trump and tell the truth about him, I might consider getting out of the race. But there isn't.
I'm suspending my campaign tonight.
Anybody thinks I'm getting out of this race, they're crazy.
And anyone who is unwilling to say that he is unfit to be President of the United States is unfit themselves.
And there is no one who is better prepared to provide America with the strong leadership that it needs, both at home and around the world, than Donald Trump.
Is the anti-Trump message, is there any evidence that it's resonating?
Absolutely, evidence is resonating. Been in the race for less than 3 weeks, and I'm already in third place in New Hampshire, only 4 points behind Ron DeSantis.
I'm suspending my campaign tonight for President of the United States.
June of 15, Donald Trump was at 2%. I've known him for 22 years. I'm not afraid of him. He's a paper tiger.
He's a good friend. He is a strong and resolute leader. And he is someone who is going to lead the Republican Party to victory.
He's a paper tiger.
Providing strong leadership that's not dependent upon the status quo.
I think one of the biggest things we have a problem with this country now is anger and uncontrollable anger. No, I'm from New Jersey. There are plenty of things in our state that make me angry, but you need to learn to control that anger and deal with it and to try to channel that anger in a way that's positive that tries to produce something.
I understand. So I'll be more than happy to have a debate with you anytime you like, Guy, because somebody like you who doesn't know a damn thing about what you're talking about except to stand up and show off when the cameras are here. I've been here when the cameras aren't here, buddy, and done the work.
And quite frankly, I think the political world and the media world stoke the anger rather than try to push us towards conversations that can be productive to try to solve some of these problems.
Listen, let me just, good. Good. I'm glad you do. Either sit down and keep quiet or get out. One or the other. We're done with you.
And I think the anger that is so prevalent right now in our country and stoked by so many different elements of what are supposed to be leadership in our country create an even bigger problem.
Turn around, get your 15 minutes of fame, and then maybe take your jacket off, roll up your sleeves, and do something for the people of this state.
Some people can't control that anger. And once you light that fuse, you can't stop it from blowing.
No matter what we do, it will never be enough.
Welcome
But
the opportunity
I'm sure
to
you would.
discuss it
But based upon the accuracy
and get beyond the rhetoric to connect people to coverage.
I'd like you to get beyond the rhetoric,
ready
because
to do that, we'll be happy to meet with you.
I'd love to get beyond the rhetoric.
This is a country that needs to channel its anger back into productive solutions to problems in this country, and not just have every day people in the political world and the media world stoking that anger and making it worse.
You want to have the conversation later? I'm happy to have it, buddy. But until that time, sit down and shut up.
I don't know that Saturday Night Live could do a better job than that. My question is, how are you going to become the primary candidate for the GOP over former President Trump?
Go right at him. There's no other way to do it. Right? He's been our nominee twice. If you're not going to speak directly about him and why you're better than him.
I'm suspending my campaign tonight for President of the United States.
Yesterday, Governor, when you announced that you were running for president, you called Trump, a former friend, a quote, lonely, self-consumed, self-serving mirror hog. You've been rather unsparing in your criticism. Trump, last night, in response to you running, ran a rather mocking video on social media. There it is. It's you. I guess he's making fun of your weight. That's his response. What did you make of that? What was your response to that?
It just renewed in my own mind what a child he is. He's a baby.
Governor, when you announced that you were running for president, you called Trump a, quote, lonely, self-consumed, self-serving mirror hog. What did you make of that? What was your response to that?
People get upset about being called names in public. I'm from New Jersey. I get called names in public all the time. It doesn't matter. I'm used to it. It just renewed in my own mind what a child he is. He's a baby. And you and I are both lucky enough to be parents. And if we had a child who conducted themselves like that, we'd send them to their room, not to the White House. I'm from New Jersey. I get called names in public all the time. It doesn't matter. I'm used to it. It's so childish. It's so juvenile. He is such a spoiled baby.
No, Christie's he's eating right now. He can't be bothered. Sir, please do not call him a fat pig. That's very disrespectful. Don't call him. See, I'm trying to be nice. Don't call him a fat pig. You can't do it. You can't do that.
Hey, look, he's into the name calling and all the rest of that, and that's fine. It was new. It was different 8 years ago. It is old now, and it's going to get even older.
Look at those numbers, Chris.
I see them, and I will tell you what. This election is not decided today. No one's run a campaign against him yet.
I'm suspending my campaign tonight for President of the United States.
The voters of the United States are going to listen to this, and they're going to say, no, not this time. We've seen this show. We don't want to rerun.
Hasn't happened.
Well, of course it hasn't happened yet. We just started.
I'm suspending my campaign tonight for President of the United States.
He hasn't won a damn thing since 2016. Loser, loser, loser.
It's not like he's running a vigorous campaign. The guy spends more time playing golf. I haven't spent one day or $1 in Iowa. And it's not like he's running a vigorous campaign. The guy spends more time playing golf than sitting in a tuxedo at Mar-a-Lago. I haven't spent one day or $1 in Iowa sitting in a tuxedo at Mar-a-Lago than he says worrying about the concerns and the problems of this country. So the fact that I didn't make the polling threshold was not something I was ever trying to do in Iowa.
On Chris Christie, the interesting thing about Chris Christie, at least my instinct is probably wrong, he has no shot at getting the Republican nomination. No shot at all.
I've never seen a Chris Christie speech that I liked. I've never seen a Chris Christie speech that I respected, that had anything in it that I admired. Until tonight.
Really?
When it was virtually the entirety of it that was good. And not just good, but exactly what Republican-leaning voters need to hear.
na.